Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Danae, and I'm here with a message for you. Now, full disclaimer, I had to restart the video because when I was giving my little greeting saying, I hope you're doing well, which I do, and saying the date, I reached back all the way to September. Then I was like, oh no, I'm sorry, October. Like, oh no, I'm sorry. So I had to start over. So I don't know if that's significant, like some type of regression back 2 months from now, maybe. I don't know. Think about where you were, what you were doing. I don't know, but it was weird, okay? I know I'd be lost in the dates sometimes, but I ain't that damn lost for a whole 2 months. And then second, which was supposed to be first, I had a musical download today that was strange for me because I'd never ever think about this song. I don't even know the lyrics for real to sing it to you, but it's Breakdown by Mariah Carey featuring Crazy Bone and Wishbone, right? It's the song Break Down, steady breaking me on down. And that's literally all I know. I don't know anybody but Mariah Stans that actually can sing that song like word for word, lyric for lyric, because she's singing so fast and sweet that I could barely make out what she's saying. But ultimately, the premise of the song is somebody that has been broken up with or experiencing some breakup, and they're trying Mariah pretty much is trying her best to put on a like a happy face and like trying to pretend that the breakup is not really bothering her. Like the most of the song is the premise of her like being believable that she's doing all right, she's unbothered, she's okay, she's moved on to her friends and to the one who she's disconnected with, but ultimately behind the scenes she's like on the verge of a breakdown any minute. And I want to say that was either right after her return from her own mental breakdown, her mental health challenge, or right before it, but I feel like it was after because I saw some butterflies and she kind of emerged with the butterfly energy after she had that health issue or whatever. But then finally, what that led me to, because obviously I went to listen to the message. I'm like, to the music. I'm like, why am I hearing that song? And it was the part that I just sung, nothing more, nothing less, that came up. And I was like, all right, let me go listen to it. Then I got into what it was given. And then I was like, it just says featuring Crazy and Wish. And I always liked Crazy, but I wanted to make sure that was the one because, it was like 4 or 5 of them, right? So, well, really 4, but when I went back to look, when I went to go check, like, is it Crazy? Because I always liked his flow, his groove or whatever over the other ones. And I just wanted to double check that he wasn't Wish. I knew which one I liked, but I wasn't exactly 100% sure that was him. So sure enough, when I go look up Crazy Bone, which is interesting because we're talking about mental health breakdown and all that, right? So I go look up Crazy Bone, and lo and behold, he's been recovering from a massive health scare. And I kind of remember like briefly scanning a headline about that he was in the hospital, but I didn't know the details. And come to find out, he was fighting for his life for 9 days on a ventilator and induced coma and everything because he had a bleeding artery in his lungs. Get into that, So we talking about heartbreak, we talking about bleeding arteries, we talking about mental breakdown here, mental instability, or I think that's what it is. Yeah, she had like a nervous breakdown or something, go figure. Definitely not surprising being in the industry and on the level of success and fame that she was. But yeah, that's that. Take it as you will. It'll probably bleed, no pun intended, into the reading. But yeah, much prayer and healing and protection over Crazy Bone, who is no coincidence that I can clearly identify him as my favorite voice in the group. Just, his energy and his flow, and then for him to be kind of a standout in this, to be a living testimony, honestly. And it says that he still needs some surgery for final repair for this artery, but ultimately he was just giving praise to God, for keeping him through this journey of, this part of the struggle as it is, and that he's alive and well at least alive and breathing to fight another day. So there's that, shout out and prayers to him and his family. So the last thing, did I say that was the last? Because this was supposed to be the only thing, but I swear, as soon as I just got ready to do the message is when I heard break down, okay? So your strength is shared when you are present for others is my Yogi tea bag, okay? Never had that one before either. So I thought I'd share it. Your strength is shared when you are present for others. I just got a whole nother vibration off of that. You got to be careful who you present for and with, because your strength, i.e. your energy, is absolutely shared in the upright, and it can be absolutely siphoned in the lower vibration depending on who you're around. So take that as it resonates too. Okay. I'm gonna leave that there. All right. Yeah, say shared. 3 of Pentacles, sharing energy, collaboration. Yeah, pretty much. Let's see what that's all about. Now, it could be in the upright for sure. We know it doesn't have to be all dark, but just consider where we are with this, where I started these downloads, and we'll see what resonates or what comes out in the wash. All right, I hope you're doing well. I think I kind of did. Here's another 3-party situation. Oh, come on. What is celebration for a missed opportunity or of a missed opportunity or disappointment, boredom here with the Four of Cups, and then the King of Cups. Oh, okay. I hear, but in reality, I something and cry. I told you I don't really know the words, but that part I just hear in my head. So it could be somebody that's out toasting to the good life, because it says something like, she says something like, when I get back home. Dang, I wish I knew the lyrics for sure, but I heard it when I was listening to it. Like, when I get home, it's a different story, pretty much. So this is like somebody that, or this is the energy of celebration in public and despair at home, like 2 different, or maybe someone that even, misses, yeah, they're missing this time, like this time of celebration and, fun and whatever it was in this 3 of Cups energy, because that's what he's looking back at in the 4 of Cups. It's like he's missing those moments, and he's rejecting this cup that's coming from, this mystical source or ethereal source, depending on how you look at it. But it's like, it's supposed to be respite or a remedy for his present circumstance, but he don't want that. He wants to go back to this. And I feel like it's like, what I'm feeling is like it's a derivative of this, and it's 2 different suits for a reason, because it's the 3 of Pentacles, more practical, but feel the energy here with the 3 of Pentacles. It's much darker and hard and calloused and, rigid, these archaic in some regards, much more restrictive, mystical for sure in that regard with the pentacles. But the Three of Cups is like, it's out in the air, it's open, it's brighter, lighter energy. So it's like I'm feeling like he's reminiscing over something in one state of it, but it's like how can I say this? It's like a skewed reflection, or what's the right word? Like his memory of a thing is skewed, because like I just said, it's really this Three of Pentacles, where it's really not all that bright. It's very rigid, very structured, and doesn't leave a lot of room for I was about to say expression, but it's not very liberal. This energy is not giving me that. Whereas this is, and it's like he's looking back at something as if it was only this, like when it was the good life and toasting, and almost choosing to forget the aspect of it that wasn't that at all. Like this was, I almost get the sense that it was far more of this, the rigidity, than it was celebratory. That in actuality, even in the imbalance here with the 1 cup versus the 3, it's like the good didn't even really outweigh the bad, but for whatever reason, he's not wanting to move forward as it would be immature. Okay. And this King of Cups energy here with the 1 cup in his hand, take that cup from spirit and grow up and begin to really be aware of the reality of your emotional self. It's like he's only choosing to reflect upon, or for whatever reason, his perspective and reflection of the past is skewed in some way, where he's only like he's yearning for these 3 of Cups and almost trying to like negate the fact that it was actually quite a bitter and dark time in his life. If he would actually see it for what it was and accept the presence of where he is, it might help him to reconcile the reality of both of those energies and make a more a more, I would say, more high vibrational choice in this regard, with the cup literally coming from a higher source and being raised above these 3 of Pentacles. It's like he's remembering the wrong things. Of course, like say in a relationship, if you only remembering the best of the times when everything was good, and you guys, your intimate moments and gift giving and going out to dinner and having a good time, and not have, maybe even say the honeymoon phase, in its essence. Not to say that it was just limited to that throughout the entire relationship, but if you're only choosing to remember the honeymoon phase when there was absolutely no conflict whatsoever and life was good and great, and so on and so forth, that's all you're thinking about, even in your contemplation of either wanting to get back with a person, or return to a relationship, or just considering what you should do about it in the present tense. Maybe that's perhaps the decision making that he's faced with in this energy. Like, do I continue on in the old way, or do I take some new journey and move forward and grow? Let this circumstance help me to mature and grow. It's like he's only looking at the honeymoon phase, like, well, it was so good then, but that was only the first 6 months, maybe 3 months or so, 3 to 6 months, where everything was everything. If you're lucky for a honeymoon phase to last that long for some, especially if you're at the point of regret here right now, or rejection, no doubt. You're only looking at that small window of energy when you have to consider the totality of the relationship, the full experience? Like, does it really, is it worth those few moments of ecstasy measured against a lifetime, perhaps, of, I don't know, I dare I say, depression, I don't know what he's feeling right here, regret, remorse, feeling rejected himself. Like, there's some imbalance here in these relationships that he's considering. And then we got the King of Wands here. And yeah, here's some more balance and energy going on with the Two of Pentacles. Maybe he's trying to figure out what to do, because he could go left or he could go right. Those are the energies here. He could choose to completely, I don't know what he's doing in the King of Cups. I think it's the fact that he's trying to, like, almost psych himself. He's trying to resist the inevitable charge to mature and to really, like, get real with life. Like, you can't just be drunk off of good memories, like, that life is more, it's more variety to life than that. And if you want to be in a sustainable place of bliss that's not, like, induced by anything superficial or inorganic, it kind of calls for you to get over that hump of, it's like denial is what I'm getting. That's the rejection piece. It's like there's this energy of denial here with the Four of Cups, not willingness to really accept the present. Definitely not willing to fully reconcile with the past, but the present is what it is. Like, there's something that perhaps is either no longer in his grip of reality holistically anymore, without him having to put up, this is what I'm getting. It's like this energy with the Three of Cups, it may have been given this at some point in time, but the possibility of it continuing on in this fashion and this vibration at this point in this present moment, the way I just explained it, is much more slim to none. Like, you can't regress back to the honeymoon phase when so much life has happened in between that initiation to now. So it's like, but still, those are the moments that are most favorable in his remembrance, because at least it's like you feel a certain level of comfort and security there in this place of denial, as opposed to moving on and, say, the King of Cups vibration, where you actually have to leave some things behind. Like I said, just be honest with life and with yourself, like, at the fact that whatever this circumstance was, you were a co-creator in it in some way, shape, or form. So there's also that, taking accountability. It's the maturation phase in a emotional sense that this person is just not looking forward to doing. He rather just be drunk off the good life. Literally, this isn't real emotions. This is like spirit energy, like literally spirits, everybody's having a good time on the wine type of thing. But to have to sit down and actually be sober minded about, okay, what do I actually want to create in my life? It's too much of a daunting task. Like, maybe it's not too much, but for whatever it is, it's not something that he's readily willing to step into. It's like he almost would rather take the worst with the little bit of the good because I think it's because this leap here is so much more unknown, and there is the perspective that it may not be as favorable, as centrally satisfying, as it was when, Three's Company type of situation where the good times are rolling. Now, when you get real with yourself, that's a solo journey, and he, for whatever reason, doesn't know if he has the power or the will in this regard, because this is like Leo energy, to really carry out that, to really make that pilgrimage, you know, in some regard. He doesn't know if he's willing or able to. And it's it's partly on the fear of not knowing how it's going to feel. That's what it is, like afraid of the feelings that come along. Like, this is real emotion here with the King of Cups. You know, coming from Spirit, it's like, okay, now I need you to get real with everything that you have created, everything that has created you in some regard, in whichever order it matters most, you know. That's a different type of intimacy, literally, with self, that sometimes is not fun. It's not celebratory at first, anyway, you know, to heal self emotionally and psychologically. And, you know, yeah, like, we got the Empress card here. That's mom vibes. Could bring up some energy there. Here's family. You know, so that's why it's hard to get into it, because you got to go all the way deep when Spirit calls you to do so. And it's like, oh, I don't want to touch those wounds, like come to potentially having to deal with mom issues, or with whomever the caretaker energy might be, grandmom, aunties, cousins, whatever. This is the whole lot of them here with the 10 of Cups. And not only just like conventional family, but also whomever he's made his family. That was the choice, you know, whomever he's associated himself with, is also something that would come into consideration, you know, in this on this journey of self-awareness, or dare I say healing. That it's like he can only go one way or the other. You can either go back into what you've been doing and knowing that really hasn't been satisfying you either with the 4 of Cups. It may be causing some missed opportunities, may be causing him to feel rejected emotionally, like he's around people that he doesn't even really like, or that don't even really care about his well-being holistically. They just care about having a good time and perhaps making money, you know. But at least that was something that you could move around in, you could thrive in. It didn't ask too much of you, and so therefore you didn't have to expect much of it. Like, it's almost what you see is what you get type of thing. But nothing can get around the fact that it's just extremely unsavory and dissatisfying. So you either go back to that, literally regress, or you move forward into this unknown where you know whatever you uncover is going to be, it could be bitter. It could be a bitter cup to drink of at first, but ultimately it could, if you're willing to make the decision to journey, lead to a 10 of Cups, which is holistic happiness. Like I was saying, like something that's real, very fulfilling, not just temporary with the 3 here. What's the difference between the 10 and the 3 is the 7. Yeah, 7 of Cups is illusions, and you know, you have a whole lot of choices, but ultimately most of them are no good. You know, it's like a whole lot of things you could do, a whole lot of parties you could go to, a whole lot of energies you could connect yourself with, but usually they leave you feeling depleted. Like a whole lot of drinks, you know, an open bar, a fully stocked bar of top shelf, if you will, you know. But even that, even the tippiest of shelves, you still, you know, come down to a hangover at the end of the night or by the next morning, you know. So it's like really having to decide what is worth it, like what is worth it in life, to keep the debauchery going, or to get over that hump of healing into something that's more reliable and secure, you know. And here we have the Tower, you know, sudden changes. So it could be that something, and then we got the 5 of Wands. So either life experiences are causing this, are forging this insistence to make a different choice in life. There's some conflict or confusion perhaps amongst, this is like people getting drunk at the end of the party and they fighting, there's a big fight that breaks out. Maybe there's some secrets are being exposed with the high priestess perhaps. Hold on, let me get a sip. I don't know, something going on here. Some conflict, some competition, still him weighing it out. And it also is representation of divine alignment. Like this Two of Pentacles is kind of balancing between the two. It's like, do I stay over here? I mean, at best, it is exciting, isn't it? You never know what's going to happen next, literally, with the Tower card. The High Priestess might feel a bit boring, a little vanilla, a little too predictable, even though the High Priestess is not predictable at all. You never know what secrets she's holding, close to her chest, quite honestly. But the idea of some life of some righteous life and divinely aligned existence doesn't really pique the interest, the sensational interest as much, as the idea of this, unexpected type of roller coaster of a life. It's like he wonders, will he be satisfied in this space of maturation, like growing the hell up? Like, will he be happy in a life that is mature and evolved in this ethereal way? Will it be satisfying, or would he just much rather be does he just thrive on chaos? Here is the journey within to figure it out. And it's a mystical one with the High Priestess and the Hermit, because you never know when it comes down to finding yourself, mastering yourself at that. That's the thing, it's the control with this one. King of Wands as well is an energy that's more high powered and is usually in more of a controlling position to just create the life that he wants to live, But when you surrender to the spirit to a spiritual force or source, it is very unpredictable. You kind of have to take your hands off the wheel, except to just decide to be in submission, to submit to the process. And that's a hard pill to swallow when you're used to being able to create your brand of bullshit. Regardless of what the outcome was, you're able to kind of keep it under control, keep it contained, or expand it and at your will, literally with the King of Wands. But when it comes to the spirit force, like, you just got to go with that current. And that's a daunting reality to look forward to, because you don't know. I mean, it can be in this regard. You kind of got to be sick and tired of being sick and tired in this energy here with the Four of Cups. And in this case, if you're still trying to hold on to a life that was much worse than it was good, you may not be sick and tired of being sick and tired yet. Maybe you still want to stay sick and tired than to see what's on the other side of this rainbow. It definitely calls for an intention to mature and evolve and do something different than what was done before. You really can't hold on to the past holistically, because 9 times out of 10, in this imbalance of energy, you're going to have to release a great deal of the past in order to fully evolve and heal and transform in a way that's more eternally sustainable. Otherwise you'll always be susceptible to kind of like, jumping back and forth, and that wouldn't be good for anyone, quite honestly. Definitely not the person that is the centric focus of this message, you know. So the hermit is trying to lead whomever, you know, is willing to go. There has to be a willingness. Yes, circumstances have definitely compelled, perhaps sudden, traumatic, even, you know, unexpected circumstances have compelled. It's like this side of the game that he's idolizing and almost fantasizing about is crumbling right in front of his eyes. You know what I mean? Like he's seeing the fall of this way of life. But that's why I was saying it's about like I'm trying to find a way other than fantasy. It's like he's not really seeing the whole picture, allowing himself to fully reconcile with the reality as it is, because what it was and his part and creativity in it is so desirable still. It's like he still has a strong desire for even the worst of times if it could give him the best of times. You know, that was something that he could count on energetically in some way, shape, or form. It does something for him energetically. But circumstances have shifted in such a way where it almost is leaving no choice, even though we always have a choice, but it's becoming worse and worse. It's almost life trying to, you know, make the choice for you in a sense by completely disrupting the comfort of that past situation. Now it's just like, will you let it go type of thing. Maybe friends are starting to fall away, but maybe he's still trying to hold on to every relationship that he had, like connections that he had. This is what it was, where everybody was kind of on the same page and doing what they do, however they do it. But something is falling apart here, especially given the Five of Wands, that the experience is not quite, even less favorable, I should say, than it ever was now, more than before. You know, like the party is over, everybody's drunk and in their feelings at this time and literally at each other's neck. So it's like you don't even really have much to go back to. You know, he's only holding on to a memory at this point. And that is what ultimately is keeping him from fully investing himself in this process of regeneration, whatever that gets to look like, because it requires a full decision, a full commitment is what it is, like fully being committed to this journey in order to come out, you know, let's see, like I hear like 12-step programs. So maybe somebody actually has some type of, you know, and then, and then we were talking about Mariah. Okay, I forgot about all of that in the beginning. So we were talking about Mariah, and we're talking about, we're talking about Mariah and how she, you know, I think she actually did have to go to some type of like institute or some type of treatment. Now it was for a mental breakdown or instability, but of course we know that quite possibly there could have been some type of substance habit or even abuse attached to that. Allegedly, I do not know that for sure, but you know, that's usually, and look, a fly just got in here and I have no idea where it came from because there ain't even no open window in here. Where the hell you come from? Anyway, so you know, it's like she had to commit to her healing ultimately in order to, and then she emerged, you know, back into the butterfly, like I said, into the butterfly persona. Who knows where her health mentally or otherwise is now, but that's what saved her life and her career ultimately, and also her being honest about it. It wasn't like, you know, she couldn't really hide the need for healing anymore. Well, she probably could have, but she most likely would have deteriorated even faster to no avail for a return if she had continued to kind of mask it in the ways that she had learned how to cope, but when it became breaking news and she had her breakdown and she went to get some support for it, she took the time, healed, and Mariah is still the diva that we all know and love. Whether you know, get into her music or not, she still holds a place of her own, no matter what. So it's like the commitment piece is what is missing here. This resistance and even denial. This is what that's giving me, like denial that there may even be a problem. Now this is giving me a whole different vibe when I'm thinking about it, because this is literally probably someone that may be struggling with some type of alcohol overindulgence. I'll say it like that. Or maybe even pills. These are like pills, maybe pill addiction or some type of substance codependency at this time. And and something has been destroyed on account of it. Maybe a lot has been lost on account of the dependency, and where, maybe his creativity has declined, his decision making, his materializing, his actual manifestation power has dwindled, and the only pentacles here so far are the two, so it may be causing even material instability or struggle in some regard, like trying to either that's probably what it is. It's like trying to keep up with the habit, but you can't energetically or even materially do so anymore. Not to mention that your health is actually starting to have an adverse reaction as well. This is giving me, and then having to deal, okay, so it's a fear of having to deal with the recovery process, holistically, because it is going to drudge up a lot of things under the surface as to what maybe drove him to the dependency in the first place. And it's like you rather self-medicate and self-soothe than to actually heal and move forward from it, deal with it, face it, and move forward from it, because that seems much more painful. And it may be at first, definitely no shade, or what do you call it? Like dismission. It's not dismission, like not to be dismissive of this process, because it's nothing to take lightly, but life is putting them in a position where it's like you may not have a choice. Somebody falling out of windows or having falls. Literally, this is like instability. Somebody can't, somebody might actually be putting their life in danger on account of this dependency now, to the point where if they don't change, it could be fatal at this point, because everybody doesn't survive the tower. If you do, it's a matter of your perspective of how you get up and dust yourself off and rebuild again. But the tower is leading right back into the Five of Wands, which for me is saying that there have been some shocking moments, but they're still like him being halfway, half in, half out of the chaos and confusion that is not contributing to his well-being ultimately. Wow. And then I was talking about Crazy Bone. Oh my God, yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh yes, this is definitely this is either a warning before, something fatal or something detrimental happens in the physical form, or this is, because this could be somebody, like I said, maybe they had some health scares or they had something happen, physically, that put them in a tough spot, and they still are like having a hard time. It's like, when somebody has a drinking problem and they have, I don't know, like they have cirrhosis or something like that, but they still can't stop drinking. Or you had cancer from some smoking addiction or whatever, and you recovered from it, you got a second chance from that, but then you go back to smoking again. You know what I mean? Or whatever the case may be, or you had a heart attack, something more practical. You had a heart attack and your diet was supposed to change, but you go right back to eating red meat, pork, fried food, like everything you can get your hands on, you go right back to it. And remember with Crazy Bone, and that, I don't get the sense that he's off balance. I always felt like his energy was the calmest of them all, but perhaps, who knows, just like the song says, to the public it's one way, and behind closed doors it's another. Not to deflect or project that energy onto him, but just speaking figuratively. Crazy Bone is definitely the implication of something off balance here, that there's either the energy of what do you call it, association, has thrown things out of whack, off balance, unstable in this regard, or this insistence to maintain presence in both worlds, like keep one foot in one world and one in the other, or just being unsure of which one you want to be in, is creating the imbalance, like making someone feel emotionally unstable right now, which is heaping on another layer of health issues, like where the spiritual dis-ease is manifesting into a physical dis-ease, just on account of not operating in the power of choice to make a definitive decision, which way you are going to invest your energy. It's like having two pentacles, two quarters, and it's like, should I get a gumball or should I get a freaking carrot? Like, I don't know, that's stupid, but you know what I mean. One is probably, it may not kill you right away, but it's definitely not contributing to any long-term longevity in your life. Think about a gumball. They don't even last that long and taste very long, just maybe for the first 5 minutes if you're lucky, before it's hard and, not even sweet anymore. Now you just ingested all this sugar that's no good for your insides, just for the quick fix, Now the carrot may not be all that sensationally satisfying, but at least it's adding some nutritional value to your life, So it's like, which one will you choose? So I guess this is the crossroads. Oh, and crossroads, Bone Thugs and Harmony. See you at the crossroads. It's like a crossroads decision right here that somebody is facing. Perhaps truly life or death in a spiritual sense, if not an actual sense, to commit to their own healing, period. And to take that journey, follow that journey wherever it leads. And hopefully, the prayer would be to find, peace along the way. But I don't know. You consider, like I said, with Crazy Bones, having a bleeding artery in your lungs. And his sign of the dis-ease was coughing up blood. That's the only reason he knew, thank God. Otherwise, that blood could have filtered through his lungs and just took him out almost instantly. We're talking about something extremely high risk and fatal here, where he's just going about his natural everyday life, and then suddenly he's coughing up blood. Who knows how that happened, if it was natural, if it was just circumstantial. I don't know. I don't even know how such a thing happens that way. It could have been behavioral, maybe smoking, maybe ingesting something. It could have been, I don't know. So again, I don't know. That's just an alleged figurative idea. But either way, imagine him getting up now from his hospital bed and going back into some destructive behaviors after he's been pretty much given a second leash on life. You know what I mean? Like, is it leash on life or leash? I never know. Another chance, okay? This is somebody that's been through some turmoil, that's had some some resurrections, survived some great towers in some ways, but it doesn't seem like he's quite grasped the lesson. Now, the presence of the hermit is here. It's like the light is being held up, like, come on, my child, come on, my son, follow me type of vibe. But will he, won't he, is the question. I thought something turned over, I guess not. All right, one more card and we out of here. What I do have is incense, and I know when I'm winding up, because I see it winding up. Now, that was the star that almost turned over. I just want one more. That's the Judgment card. So this is a final decision on his healing, following that North Star. His or her, take it as it resonates, because just because it's the masculine here doesn't mean it's exclusive or limited to that energy. Judgment again. Let me see what this is. I'm not going to take it, but Judgment again with the Knight of Pentacles. He's taken a long time. Oh, Judgment. Okay, Judgment. We get it. He's taking a long time. It's like, do you though? Do you get it, sir, ma'am? It's taking a long time to make that final call. And that's here, like, it definitely makes sense with the Two of Pentacles. That's why it disrupted this energy here, because this is the creative force that's in question. To have any capability to create at all, you would need to have some breath in your body, sir. So it's like he's taking a long time. The judgment's already been set that this world is no longer operational for this individual. Now, if he goes back into that space, it could absolutely be fatal, but he's still taking a long time. It's like I said, it still calls for him to make the choice, for him to invest certainly in his wellness. And with the Knight of Pentacles is saying that it's been a delayed reaction and response. Now, if he decides, it could be money well invested, or at least energy well invested, because the Knight of Pentacles is the best one, but still a little slow on the draw. And here we got the Queen of Cups. Oh, my stomach again. The Justice card and walking away. That's being able to receive that healing. And whatever comes with it, because there's some cause and effect, of course, right, to your actions for all of us. Being afraid of what that is for this character, like what he's actually, the Eight of Cups is like walking away from something you're very comfortable and secure in. Oh, it's already there. Secure in. And taking a journey of faith, not a leap of faith, but a journey of faith to the unknown for something more satisfying, and this to me is being able to, this is saying like being open to the reception and the feminine energy, to the reception of healing, and for all things to be balanced harmoniously. And like I said, there's some reconciling that gets to happen, because maybe he hurt himself in this process. Maybe he hurt other people. And that's something that does have to be answered in some way, shape, or form in the fairness of universal law, And that's also a bit of a daunting projection, to have to answer for who you've been, perhaps under these influences, is scary as well. But the first step on the journey is just decision, All right, one more. Can I just get one more, Spirit? Just one. Let's close this out. All right, what's that? The Hierophant. Wow. Damn, look at all this spirit energy over here. Just waiting for him, like, come on. You got it. Wow. Let's see. And I just got something like, that's another point of concern, is, but it's funny to me, because it's like he was willing to live with the rigidity of this lifestyle, but there's a certain fear about judgment. That's what it. No, it's the judgment. That's what it is. But it's really giving me where I was going with it is that there's a certain fear of living within this lifestyle where he doesn't. There is limited. You know, where he can't be himself. He can't do him. There's certain rules and regulations. You know how people think of religion, spirituality, not as much. But it's like he's almost looking at this journey as a religious one where, you know, he's going to have to answer to some authoritative spiritual force, i.e. God, that's going to like strike him down for everything that he did wrong and going to keep him in the box. And once he commits to that's what the resistance to commitment is, that he won't be able to uphold this energy of righteousness on this side under these so-called rules and confinements and restrictions. But that in itself is illusionary, and it's like he's having the wrong perspective, similar to here. That's why he's rejecting this Ace of Cups, which is what? From an ethereal source. Because it's like, well, if I take that cup and I agree to heal, then I'm going to be stuck. It's not going to be no fun over here. And it's like, no, that's all how you make it. If you create that lifestyle for yourself, to have a lack of liberty and freedom and creative expression. This is all the energy he's seeing over here, that although it's a hot ass mess, at least it's his hot ass mess. But over here, it's like all the control, the Empress, the High Priestess, which is mystical. You don't know what you're going to get. The Hermit, which you're almost following the guidance of some other force, but really it's not that. It's being determined, and the compass is internally through the person that agrees to the journey. So even still, as you're being guided, you still have the power of choice to be led, so it's not, there's actually much more restriction, literally somebody telling these people what to do, maybe perhaps even within the substance itself dictating that you gotta have, how it is when you want something. Trust me, like I've said before, I smoked hella weed, okay? During times when I had it like that, and during times when I definitely did not. And it was almost irresponsible of me to spend money on that habit, so it's almost like you lose control, and you do in some ways. And we talking about just weed, even though, you can consider that how you will. But when you're so dependent on a substance that your mood, your well-being, your happiness, in essence, depends on it. Your coping depends on it, just getting through the day. And you're, in one regard, it's one thing to be able to feed that habit or to satisfy that habit when you got plenty of money and resources and even time to do so. It's another thing when you don't, and then that puts you into positions where you do put yourself in conflict or in poor situations or with people that are unfavorable. Like, you put yourself in harm's way to satisfy that high in one way, shape, or form, to soothe self with inorganic substances and remedies that, number one, aren't good for your overall well-being and are actually taking more from you, even materially, than you have to give. It's like all around, detriment to your health, so it's like, this is more controlled in this environment here, where the substance or the habit is leading and guiding that's what I'm saying. Like, I know how I was feeling about this disparity here. It's like, it's all good when you have it, when you got the drink, when you got the drug, but it's like he's forgetting about all the energy that has been invested and sacrificed to either stay in a position to continue having that good time or to acquire it over and over again. It takes control of you ultimately, and you almost forget about how bad you feel after the fact, or how much money you spent, or how many good friends and opportunities that you missed out on or lost on account of inebriation or being high or not having the money to do what you really want to do because you spent it on the last high, all types of stuff that's taken into account when you let anything, people, places, or things outside of you control your energy. And it's like the spirit wants to liberate you from that codependency in every way, shape, and form, whether it be something as practical as substance abuse, or, as I said, an addiction to a person, a relationship, a group of friends, a place, an ideal of success, and a position of authority, or money itself. So many things outside of us can consume our attention. And, before we know it, we all looking like, freaking, what was that Dave Chappelle character? The one. Oh my God. It's so funny too, but it's so diabolical. Not Ashley Larry, because that's the other dude, Donnell Rollins, but the other one where his lips is white, and I just see this one episode of him going into the school where he's like, kids, drugs have completely taken over my life or ruined my entire life. And he had the little boom box that he plugged. That shit was funny. I don't mean no harm, but if I find it, I'm going to post it on the community tab, and I'm going to probably tag it under this video because it's funny as hell, and everybody knows at least somebody, or maybe has been that person. Hell, in my worst of times, I was only a few steps away, and I ain't gonna lie to you right now. Never, like I said, has only been weed in my life. I've never been much of a drinker, and I've never done any substance more than marijuana. Full disclosure. But even that, something that seems almost harmless in the array of substances that you can get caught up in, is not, because it's all a matter of what you're willing to do, what you're willing to sacrifice of yourself to satisfy that void, to fill that void, whatever it is filling in the first place. And that's the invitation to heal here, because once you realize what you're trying to really satisfy, what hole you're trying to fill, and it can be a daunting, self-confrontation to have, or self-awareness to come to, the self-realization to make. But once you have that intel and you have the will to heal it holistically, you're free. Like, I haven't smoked in, let's see, it's been well over 7 months now, maybe more than that. And I don't even have the urge to. I don't have anything against it, and I'm not going to sit here and denounce that I ever will again. But I know that in the present position that I'm in now, there's no substance that completely rules my life. And that's what I am, literally in celebration for, because there was a time that I would figure out the best, nothing diabolical, mind you, and definitely nothing degrading to myself or anyone else. But there was a time when I would make a sacrifice to get a quarter bag or whatever the hell, something to sustain me through the week and calm my nerves, or even though I didn't even realize that's what I really wanted. To me, it was just what I like to do. And I still do. Like, in memory, in my regressive memory, I still do enjoy the calm of, blazing up here and there. I do see the gratification of it for sure, but I absolutely am sure about the detriment that it can cause to my finances, to my mood, to my energy levels, to my focus, just the sheer impulse of when you're down to the last of it and you need more, and then having to go through the whole process of calling somebody, and then God forbid in the moments when somebody's not available, when you absolutely need more because there is no more left. And I just don't desire to be controlled that way by anything or anyone. I vow that if I ever were to indulge in the habit again, the behavior, the recreation in any regard. It would be just that, something that happens because I can afford to do it. It's not taking anything away from my life. When I do it, I feel like I'm smoking the best of the best, premium. There's no sacrifice in quality, and my life is more or less enhanced if it can be so. Otherwise, I don't even want it. I just don't. I value myself and my energy and the quality of my life without any smoke or drink or anything more than I do with it. Even having appreciation for the with, there still was a definitive choice I had to make to enhance the overall quality of my life, and I don't regret it at all. Either way, one way or the other, I don't regret when I did. It's not like I sit back and think about, damn, all the money I could have right now if I didn't smoke, before this time or whatever. I don't do that either, because I don't think that's healthy at all to your forward movement. You did what you did. You made the choices that you made. It was fun while it lasted. You enjoyed of it, whatever you did and whatever whatever was available. And now when it's time to move on and mature and indulge in some different things to soothe yourself in some more holistic ways, you do that and you enjoy that journey all the same. And usually you find something even more satisfying and gratifying just making the more wise decision overall for your life. And that's why all of this energy is so heavy in the spirit over here, because this is what's most sustainable and eternal in essence. I don't feel like nobody's telling me what to do. I don't feel like God's going to be mad at me if I blaze up today or tomorrow. No, I don't. That's just not my belief system. I feel like I've had the support of ancestral and angelic realms to continue to help strengthen my will to do what I've ultimately decided to do for myself. And I don't feel like I got to hide my energy about it secretively, like it's some secret I gotta, take to the grave that, yeah, hell yeah, I smoked hella weed and I do it again in the right circumstances. I would, but that's not the choice that I make now. That's not the point of control that I've decided to have over my life in this instance. I've submitted to a higher source, and moreover to a supreme source and force that works within me. And at this point in time, that just functions more at a higher frequency with more of a sober mind. Period. That's just what it is. So like I said, this comes down to being sick and tired, literally, of being sick and tired, and that's a choice that nobody can make but for themselves. Page of Cups, this is like, damn, it's like the kid's drunk too. Shit, he's a kid. The only thing we didn't have was the Knight of Cups. Let's see what's on this side. The Ace of Swords. Damn, so maybe this was like, this is either a development from childhood trauma. Maybe he did start drinking at a young age, like coping with something, or saw drinking at a young age and was intrigued by it, like parents drank a lot. It could be generational. It could be just one of those things. Usually they say alcoholism or substance abuse in general, if it's not generational, a generational disease, it most certainly can be a cycle that's passed down just in terms of exposure, so maybe perhaps he was exposed to overindulgence in one way and it manifested in his life in another way. But for sure, with the Ace of Swords, he has the intel, the intellect, the clarity, and the support to break free of that cycle. Anyone that I'm talking to has that support. Like, you were the chosen child, the chosen one of your generation to be able to do something different. Like, ain't nobody gonna want to drink that with a fish in there. I hope not, right? It's almost finding a spirit of disdain for the thing that, well, is it that? Maybe not so much, but finding this is what it is. because remember I said it's like he's only seeing the good times, not the negative times. But this is like seeing the whole of it. It's like it's still the cup, might still be some good wine. However, there's also a fish in there. So is it really worth drinking it from that cup and moving around the fish? Now, some in the height of their situation might say absolutely, just pull that fish out and cheers. But I think it also is speaking to coming to the realization and the truth of what of your childhood experiences have incited this habit in the first place. It's coming to the truth of that matter, like coming all the way back down to square one, like from the King of Cups, you get there having control over your emotional energy, your indulgences, so to speak, by coming back down to understand why they began in the first place. And again, that's the road that's less traveled by many of us. That's going into that, perhaps in that 8th house, into the psyche, into the subconscious, and confronting those raw emotions and that energy that is surging, in places that are unseen and perhaps unmentionable. Remember that you don't present to the public, when you're having a good time. Little does the public know you're drinking your anxieties away, or your sadness, your depression away, feeling rejected in life in some way, shape, or form. Well, that manifested from a very organic space. And it's most important with anything, again, that we are contending with, that we find is taking more control over us than we have control over it. The gateway to your liberation is figuring out at the ground, the root of it all, why that energy persists in the first place. What emotional connection am I having to this behavior that is either triggering me to want to respond to it in this way or hold on to it so it incessantly, or that is making me feel satisfied to soothe it in this regard. It's a path that has to be taken. And I say has to because yes, we have the choice, but if there's ever to be an emergence of truth and clarity in a pure sense, there is no other way to it. You have to go through those depths and come back out regenerated, seeing the truth of all that was, all that is, in order for you to truly be in operational authority in creative authority of your reality. That's the only way. And the only difference is, that's the only way to it. But of course, you absolutely have the right to refuse, to say, no, I like it this way and I'm gonna keep at it this way. Even though it hurts, it feels better than the unknown. Like, that's the choice that we all have, for sure. But then you have to be accountable for, the outcome, the reality of where that truly leads in spirit and in truth. Nobody else is responsible for that but you, but me, but we. So here's cheers to making healthy choices, making powerful decisions, operating in the fullest capacity of our decision making and the power of our choice, unapologetically and without regret, remorse, guilt, or shame for the past, the present, or even any anxiety about what the future holds, to really just cultivate a space of grace and gratitude for life, to merely have a chance to choose in this present moment, and really being able to make any decision that you find reasonable or righteous for your life. But the fact that you get to do it, is the point of celebration. I just pray that whatever it is that you choose is in the highest frequency of your liberation in spirit and in truth. All right, it is so, and so it is. And until next time. Peace.